To truly give you the gift of freedom as you walk along the path of each daily shortcut episode, you'll discover that it's the people who you mastermind with that give you the power to transform your business. You'll take off in your business when you decide to slow down time and connect with other great mentors. When you decide to embrace fully the transformational information from one of my mentors, as we open a new door to a vehicle you can step inside and smile, taking one step and then the other. As we open a new door to a vehicle, as you walk on a stage so we can celebrate you. Pay attention to William Wood in this special episode as he shines a light on the power you have inside so you can immerse yourself in the principles of success, lift your hands in the air, and be free.
Today I was sitting with a client and I was explaining the process that a monarch butterfly goes through to change from caterpillar to butterfly. I think this is probably one of the most universal symbols of change. The butterfly transforming and emerging from the cocoon. If you haven't ever seen this before, guys, I am telling you, this is worth seeing. And what I watched is this caterpillar crawl up onto the end of a leaf, and then it starts to form this little attachment where it's going to hang upside down. And then it hangs upside down, and what looks like is happening is that the caterpillar actually starts to shed its skin from the inside out. And I always just thought it was a real dormant process entering into the cocoon, but forming the cocoon looks to me to be actually super hard work. So the caterpillar there somehow notices that it's time to change. You know, it reaches that point in its development when it just gets a sense that it's time to change. When you really think to yourself, hey, today is the day that things have got to give. Today is the day that things need to start moving forward in some different way. And that's where the caterpillar is. And it starts to form this cocoon by shedding its own skin, by literally sloughing off its outer layer. By giving up what it used to be, it forms this shell, this chrysalis. And then, after some struggle, the old skin is shed off and the chrysalis is fully formed, and the caterpillar looks to be dormant, or it looks to be totally still inside that shell for quite some time. And yet on the inside, things are changing. Things are shifting around inside that shell as a new form emerges. Once caterpillar is now literally sprouting wings. And so all this change is happening inside, even though you can't see anything happening on the outside yet. And then a terrible struggle emerges. And yet a beautiful struggle at the same time. It's literally a fight for life. It's that moment when you're totally confined in life and you realize it's time to break free. It's time to break free. And the old outer skin that used to be your skin no longer serves, because inside you have emerged beautiful, changed, dynamic. But no one else can see it. And so you start to fight. And the butterfly's fighting. It's fighting. It's punching off the old skin. It's punching out of the old cocoon. It's pushing and shoving and shoving and pushing because it's stuck. It's stuck. It reminds me, actually, when I was a kid, I grew up in Alaska. And sometimes it would snow a lot, but really it's the part of Alaska I grew up in is an Arctic desert. And so we didn't get a lot of snow a lot of the time. But I remember one year we just got a tremendous amount of snow in my hometown of Fairbanks, Alaska. I want to say it was about 1989, but I might be off a couple of years. I was there at my friend Bruce Crevenston's house, and Bruce Crevenston and I, we were standing up on the top of his roof, and I forget how we'd gotten up there. I think we were shoveling snow off of his family's roof, and we were up there, and we looked down, and his house was nestled right at the edge of this beautiful hill. Forest as far as the eye could see, just a little log cabin home in the woods. Totally picturesque. It was a sunny day. It was a balmy 30 degrees or so, really warm for that time of year in Alaska. Freshly fallen snow in every direction as far as the eye can see. And we'd been shoveling snow for a while, and then we looked off the side of the roof, and it was probably a 25-foot drop down a sloping hill, and there was at least 10 feet of powder. And I took one look at that, and I took one look at Bruce, and Bruce looked at me and said, "You want to jump?" I mean, you got to remember, I was about 15 at the time, and I'm thinking, yeah, heck yeah, right? No coat, right? Because I'd worked up a sweat shoveling. No coat, no mittens, no hat. I think Bruce was wearing shorts because it was Alaskan. It was 30 degrees. It was like it was practically summertime. And so we decide that we're going to jump off the roof. And so 1, 2, 3, whoom, and we both jump off, and we land in 10 feet of fresh powder after a 25-foot drop, totally exhilarating. And I made the mistake of jumping with my arms down by my side. And there was 10 feet of powder. So whoosh! I sunk down deep into the snow, and I'm pinned. My arms are pinned right next to my body. I'm in snow now over my head. My head is about 3 feet under the bottom of the snow. And I got no coat. I got a short sleeve shirt on, and I think to myself, oh my goodness, I'm stuck. I can't move. I literally could not pull my hands out because the snow had jammed them into my sides. And I immediately knew that Bruce was in the same predicament because I heard muffled screams, and I started to panic. And I don't know if you've ever been trapped, but in that moment, I was totally and completely trapped. I couldn't move. I wanted to move, but I couldn't move. Arms pinned by my side. What once was a balmy 30 degrees now seemed like frozen ice driving nails into my arms, and I was trapped. I was as stuck as I have ever been in my life, terrified now that the snowbank would collapse on me and I'd be trapped underneath the snow, just like somebody would be trapped in an avalanche. I'm on the side of the hill. Bruce's parents aren't due back for hours. Bruce can't help me because he's wedged in, I'm wedged in, and I had to get out. I don't know if you've ever been that stuck that you were so desperate to move, but you just couldn't do it. I was there. Oh my gosh, I was there. And for a split second there, I thought to myself, if I don't do something now, if I don't break out of this, I'm going to die. I'm going to die here and nobody's going to know it. I'm going to get hypothermia. And so I started to panic and I started to fight. And I couldn't hardly even move, but I started to rock my upper body just backwards and forwards. I could barely move my head. And I was literally headbutting the snow backwards and forwards. Wham, 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 wham. Headbutting the snow backwards and forwards, trying to break my head loose. And finally I could move my shoulders a little bit. And I started to squirm my shoulders. And as I started to punch and I started to, just move everything I could. Whereas moving my hands backwards and forwards, it only moved just millimeters at first, and then inches, and then finally, oh my gosh, the glorious moment arose. My left hand broke free, and I was able to rise it up and lift it up above my head, and then I started to claw at the snow. I clawed at the snow, and I started the process of breaking free. It was time to break free! And I was breaking free, baby. I mean, I'd gone from panic to elation. Now I was elated because my body was able to move, and now I had both arms up above my head, and I was digging. I was swimming in the snow. My arms were swimming just like I was in the water. Moving the arms back and forth. I'm swimming out of the snow, and slowly I started to climb. I had a little rise, about 3 feet, and I swam out of the snow. And I remember finally getting my head up above the top of the snow. Oh. And I breathed freedom. I breathed freedom, baby. It was the freshest breath of winter air that I have ever tasted in my life. And I looked over, and just as I got out, Bruce got out. And we climbed out of that snow, and we relished our freedom. We relished our freedom. Because you don't know what it's like to be free until you've been trapped. You see, and the butterfly is completely trapped in his own skin. In her own skin. And there comes that moment in time when it is time to break free. The butterfly has been still, and now he knows. Now she knows. You've got to do it. You've got to break free. And the butterfly begins a struggle. Starts to punch and kick and move its wings, and it can't move much at all. In fact, when you watch the video, you'll see that it's just creating a little bit of space as it starts to move, and it starts to get desperate. It's desperate because it's been trapped inside of its own skin, trapped inside of its old life, trapped inside and ready to transform. And the transformation has happened. The change has happened, but it still hasn't broken free. And so it starts to struggle. It starts to break free. It starts to push and shove and push, creating a little bit more space. And then finally, bam! One foot breaks through the old cocoon. One foot breaks through the old skin. One foot, bang, breaks through the old life. And it's that moment when you're finally tasting freedom, no longer confined to the stuffy air of the cocoon. There's a whiff of fresh air, and you move from panic into exhilaration, knowing that you're close, and then you start punching and kicking with your other feet. You're pushing against that old life. You're pushing against the cocoon. You're pushing, you're shoving, you're pushing. And then, bam! An antenna pops out, and then bam, the lid comes off the thing, and your head is now in the fresh air, and the butterfly can breathe. It breathes, but it's not yet done. It continues to struggle, and it begins to emerge, and finally, with pulling and pushing and clawing, it struggles for freedom. It struggles for freedom. Oh, fresh air. Oh, freedom, baby, freedom. But the job's not done. The butterfly needs to spread his wings. See, the wings had collected moisture inside that cocoon. Condensation. So the butterfly can't take off yet, but it starts to stretch and push and pull and shove. And finally, the wings, they fold open. They fold open, and now they need to dry. And so the butterfly moves the wings back and forth, drying the wings, and then suddenly, in a moment, not only is the transformation done, not only has the butterfly broken free, but now he has spread his wings, and a fresh summer current catches the butterfly, and the butterfly soars, no longer confined to the ground, no longer confined to crawl along the ground on his belly anymore. now free to soar the skies and experience and taste the joy of freedom. And it is the very struggle of breaking free that prepares that butterfly to spread his wings and fly. So today, will you break free? Will you do what it takes to spread your wings and catch that current of air and soar? Like today's show? If you did, ask yourself this question. Who else might benefit from the information I just learned? All it takes to change someone's life is to share the link to today's show. Will you do that? When you leave a comment below today's post, you'll automatically be entered into a contest to win a copy of the book, Mindfulness, an 8-week plan for finding peace in a frantic world by Mark Williams and Danny Penman. One person who leaves a meaningful comment will win a free copy of the book, Mindfulness, shipped directly to their home or business. To keep getting daily inspiration and motivation, scroll down to the bottom of the page and enter your name and best email address to subscribe to The Daily Show, which airs 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Most days, you'll hear from David Wood, my financial freedom mentor. 1 day a week, you'll hear from me. You'll also get several bonuses when you subscribe today, including a free MP3 version of my audio training, Relax. This 40-minute training will teach you how to harness the power of relaxation so that you can beat stress and live a life of peace. When you scroll down and subscribe to The Daily Show today, you'll also get a free PDF of today's message and an MP3 that you can listen to over and over again to reinforce the teachings in today's training. I look forward to seeing you again soon. My name is William Wood, and I believe in you.